Can't hit 11k by itself. Typical Chrono Jet. Melum swings. Pull it. And 11. And that's game. Please. I hope it's game. Please? Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on the protagonist of the G series, Gear Chronicle. Now with this wave we have new keyword, that's keyword Time Leap, where essentially we're still doing the removal shenanigans that we know and love from Gear Chronicle, but we also have an added element of multi-attacking and improving your own minions, or well, units instead. So instead of just turning back time on your opponent's board, you're moving your units forward in time and evolving them. So without further ado, let's talk about Time Leap with Gear Chronicle. Starting off with the new starter, Chrono Dran. This is basically Chibi Chrono. What it does is when it's bound during your turn, GB1, basically when it's Time Leaped, put this in your soul to Spirit Call like Chrono Jet from your deck, and at the end of that battle, that unit attacked, or at the end of the turn, put that to your hand. So even if you can't hit, you still have a 13k, you still have a grade 3 stride you could use for the stride cost, and when you time leap this unit, you basically have an 11k in the front row and a grade 1 in the back row. So you have basically at least a 16k column fresh just by binding this card. So it's really, really nice. It also has the pseudo resist skill, so that's pretty neat. The grade 1s, we have 3 of the Melum. GB1, when this unit attacks Vanguard, plus 4k. If you do, put this back to your deck and call a grade 0. It is interesting because you're like, what kind of grade 0s do you want to call? It's like, okay. But we do have a new stand trigger that we want to play, so there's that. And it's nice because it can attack for 11k by itself. We play 2 of the Shenanigans. GB1 once returned during your main phase when your opponent's rear guards return to their deck due to Cardfight. If your Vanguard's grade 3 or Chrono Jet, countercharge 1. This is nice because we do play some more counterblast options than some other lists, so having the countercharge is helpful. And for Stride Fighters, of course, and for countercharging PGs, of course. There's no other options. Maybe down the line we will replace the PGs, but Stride Fighters are still really, really good. For the grade 2s, we're playing 4 of the Ishin. Resist is good, the guard trick is fine. We play 3 of the Glimmer Breath. Removal is nice. Being able to hit 11k by itself is really nice. And this is one of the reasons why we use the Shenanigans, because if we do have 1, it basically just costs you kind of a soul less 1. We play 2 of the Clock Fencer Dragon, which introduces, again, Time Leap. Rearguard Circle on place, GB1 when placed from your hand, you can Time Leap one of your other rearguards. This is really helpful. You can Time Leap a grade 0 into grade 1, and then you could do some other shenanigans. So that is quite fun. And lastly, we have the History Maker Dragon. This is the key grade 2 from this new set at 4. Rearguard Circle GB1, Time Leap when this unit attacks a Vanguard, doesn't even need to be boosted. Counterblast 1, Time Leap one of your other rearguards. So this basically enables you to attack rearguard. Oh, you probably removed one of your opponent's board, right? From the stride skill, rearguard to rearguard, History Maker into Vanguard, skill, Time Leap the other rearguard attacks, and then your Vanguard attacks. So you have 1 more attack than usual, really, really nice. For the grade 3s, this is your main writer, Chrono Jet, basically the same thing, guard restrict and Counterblast 1 return something. The Bali basically helps you fix your ride. The other skill is really, really valuable, but it's there, I guess. And we play 2 of the Water. Now this is one of the new pieces that are really important for a timely based build. Basically what it does is GB1 when bound during return, put this card to the bottom of your deck to draw 2 and return a card from your hand to your deck. So the thing is, this card, it's a recyclable stand trigger. It helps you draw cards, helps you fix whatever is in your hand back to the deck, maybe a trigger or whatever. But this card is really important because it is a search target for Melum. But because you can combo, for example, you can play Clock Fencer, you can Time Leap this, right? So if you Time Leaped it, the unit that you Superior Call from Time Leap skill goes back to the deck at the end of turn, and then you Superior Call whatever was binded for the Time Leap cost, right? So the Water goes back to the deck already. What that means is that when you return the grade 1, there's no grade 0 coming back. So it's kind of like a wash, right? It doesn't feel that good. Right, you draw 2, you put 1 back, and then you lost the Water, you lost the grade 0, so it feels like a wash. But the thing is, if you use like Fate Rider, right? So Fate Rider skill is you can return a rearguard from your board into the bottom of the deck, color card that unit's grade +1. and all that. What that means is, for example, if you Clock Fencer the Water, you get a grade 1, you proc Water skill, you draw 2, return 1, and then you could use Fate Rider skill, return that grade 1 to the deck, and Superior Color grade 2. What that basically means is you basically essentially didn't time leap, and you don't need to pay the cost anymore, so you basically ended up with a +1, so that is quite nice. So Fate Rider is definitely a great first stride target. We also have Upheaval Pegasus, which removes stuff, kind of makes it a little bit more problematic for opponents to commit onto the board, especially valuable against matchups like Neo Nectar right now, because they do have Thuria, which is a resist unit. You can't just easily remove it, so you do need to rely on the Upheaval Pegasus, and it's really nice sometimes when your opponent commits a lot of grade 1s. I've had one game where they did, and then you just loop everything back and then PG, and then they lose the game because of that. So it can feel really nice, just punishing your opponent for not really thinking about what they're committing onto the board. And then Metallica Phoenix. This is the new GR. Basically, it's an on attack, time leap, can last 1, turn something face up, and then if you have a copy of itself in the G zone face up, then you get to counter charge 1. It's just really solid. It's a great first stride option. It's not GB restricted, and it's a really great way to end off the game as well, because you don't need to discard cards or do whatever shenanigans. You just basically multi-attack. So if you do have 2 copies, definitely play 2 copies. Maybe drop the drop 1 Fate Rider even, or play 1 less of one of these pairs. First pair we have is the Ragnarok Dragon. This is solid. It has Camus 1, G Persona Blast, 2 Guard Restrict, and then if you have 2 or more face up in the G zone, get an extra crit and return something from your opponent's board to the bottom of the deck. So important to note that the G Persona and the Guard Restrict is not G restricted. So I have won games on my first stride turn going into Ragnarok and stealing the game. So that's something to note. Whether or not that's the right play is really dependent on you, but I do think that the extra crit and the removal is helpful in some scenarios. And the next stage I do personally quite like. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked Vanguard GB2. If you have a Chronojet Heart, Camus 1, G Persona, to discard 3 cards, stand this unit. Put this unit into your G zone face up, stand your Vanguard, and draw 2 cards, and then you have the Chronojet GB2 to Guard Restrict and try to go for game. So that's really nice as well. Sometimes you just have a bunch of dead cards, you just want to dump them, draw into new cards, and maybe just go for game. One of the issues with this card is Counterblast, and also the cards in hand. So the deck is a little awkward. Like, generally speaking, if you want to play next stage, in my next stage focus build from a while back, you want to play GG, which says on play, so let's do draw 1. But I don't feel like I have space for that, because I do really value the Glimmer Bless 11k to be able to hit 11k numbers by itself, and then timely bit so you can become another 11, 5, 16k column. So that is the reason why I'm playing Erningen instead of the GG. If you feel like you want the GG, I would consider dropping the Glimmer Breath numbers and then and then still playing around the next stage. If you want to play more Metallica Phoenix or more Upheaval Pegasus, if you have 1 more copy of each, I would consider either dropping the Ragnarok or the next stage. It really is up to you. But personally, given the amount of Neo Nectars I'm seeing on the ladder, I do really like the Upheaval, and I think playing it at 2 is definitely worth it. So that's basically it. You of course have many other great options for the strides. This is Gear Chronicles wheelhouse anyways. You have stuff like Chronos Command Dragon. I don't really like this because it's Camblast and Soul Blast heavy. We have cards like Lost Age, which is a fine first stride, especially if you're on a budget. You have Mystery Flare, which is rarely procable because your cards do expend Camblast quite a bit here and there. And Epoch Maker is just worse Upheaval Pegasus at this point in the metagame. So that's basically it. Let me know down below what you think. Of course, grade 2s, if you don't want to play the resist, you want to play more aggressively, you can play the 9+3s, the on place GB1 9+3s. I think those are really nice because you could time the grade 1s into those grade 2s, and those could definitely hit some more numbers and hit better numbers. So with that said, let's go into a game or 2 and see how the deck performs. Basically, I mean, you have some other sorters as well. You have TikTok Worker, which does the time leap stuff as well. It basically says rearguard circle, when your rearguard attacked, you can put this in your soul to time leap something. The reason why I thought it was really good is because, well, you could rearguard to rearguard, time leap that, and then that rearguard attacks face, and the Vanguard attacks face, right? But the thing is, most of the time you will be on Chronojet Heart. Being on Chronojet Heart does mean that you will be removing one of your opponent's front rows already, So most likely you have 2 swings to your opponent's face, and in that case, it is hard for that rearguard column to scale up that well. I think that is one of the weaknesses of the deck, and that's something that you need to work around with, because you do manage to get a lot of timely done. You can, but none of them really scale up in the numbers that you need. So you need to manage. Do you really want a timely? Like, and can you actually hit those numbers? And like in some scenarios, when you timely grade 2s to grade 3s, it does mean 1 less trigger in your deck for that turn. So it is a little bit of give or take. You know, I don't think it's as amazing as in the TCG, especially since some of the skills, you know, when you're superior calling, you're calling in rest position, so it's not like you can even use it for a boost or whatever. It's just a little bit awkward, but overall, I think the deck is still has potential, and can't wait for more Gear Chronicle support down the line. So we want to see Arrester Messiah's build. We don't play the Harmonics. Link Joker isn't really that popular, and we have Resist, I guess, so that's fine. History Maker. We don't have a grade 3 though. We just got clogged with a bunch of these PGs, which isn't so nice. Hopefully we see a defensive draw into a Chrono Jet, and we go from there. So let's see what we can do. I mean, Cloud Fencer looks really sick. Ishin is still really good. Just in some matchups, just being able to consistently go into resist and shutting down your opponent's plays is how you win the game. You know, against Kami, for example, just using Fate Rider consistently set up those resist units is more than enough to win the game. You don't need to be too, well, there we go, defensive draw into a grade 3. So you don't need to be too fancy with your plays, honestly. Sometimes a little bit is more than enough. Just the basics is more than enough to carry you through the game. So here, striding is going to cost me quite a bit, but I think it's still necessary to do. And what should I go into? That's the question, I guess. I am interested in going into the Fate Rider. Going into Fate Rider, looping the grade 0 heal into a grade 1, and then refreshing the cost for the removal in terms of the Counter Blast. I can always go into the Melum as well, which can be fun. So a lot of PGs, which isn't the best. Even considering just popping the PG back and then calling a resist, that could be a play as well. I think that's pretty solid. The heal or the PG. Let's put the PG back. I think it's way too much so early into the game. So just 14 and then 26. Playing is really stable, nothing special. You're seeing more triggers, but that's okay. Stand trigger here, a little awkward because we don't have the numbers. But it doesn't really deviate from the game plan. And pass. So just setting up a resist here. Even if the back row is locked, that's fine, but we're not giving them too much stuff to lock. So that definitely does impede our opponents setting up their Amnesty Mistap play this turn. But they need to commit their own board and they need to do their own thing. So Alter Ego, lock both of our stuff. $9K. I guess that gives them one lock, so that's nice. So honestly, with all those Link Joker supports like the leaders, which we did a profile on, and Chaos, I still think that Messiah is the best Link Joker deck out there. Reason being is because you still have the locking, but you also have the multi-attacking. Like, you have options. You can choose which way to go. You have card advantage, generation, and you have crit pressure as well. So I think overall it is the more consistent and successful variant of all the Link Joker decks. That being said, if you like just a more simple playstyle, the leaders could be for you. If you like a more manipulative playstyle, maybe Chaos is for you. I like that Link Joker does have a lot of different options for depending on what you like. So here, what should I go for? I guess the Ragnar Clock is fine. Just asking for PG. Fate Rider's also fine, I guess. Fate Rider. Metallica Phoenix. I don't know if Metallica Phoenix hits those numbers yet. I guess I'll go into Fate Rider again. And if we draw into a grade 1, then we could do a column with the Ishin, a column with the Glimmer Breath, and the Fate Rider as an attacker. So that is our water. I guess we can put it back to the deck as well. That's fine. But I don't know if I want to use the Vanguard skill here. Maybe I will save that. Can do this. I will play this. Actually, I can use the Fate Rider. Power here. Remove this. Not that important. And just swing. Just hit the numbers, and we're good to go. If we see a stand trigger, we can actually hit 16, so that's really nice. See it stand trigger, please, please. Pirates of Vanguard asking for PG. That's another heal that's wasted. So they did show one on the damage, so that's the first one from the hand. And we did see some heals, which didn't actually heal any damage, which is not that great, but we take what we get. We hit those numbers, we're asking for a PG instead of a heal guard. So that's nice, that's nice. Going into the Exilics. So now they can do some multi-attack shenanigans. They can retire the front row and all that. But hopefully next turn we can do some Metallica Phoenix Time Leap shenanigans and close the game. We do need to top deck into a stride fodder though. Boom. I guess they're gonna retire the whole board. I mean the okay, another heal. I don't think this is really gonna be a big deal. Block the 7k and then retire everything on our end on the left side. Keeping that 1 for the unlock so blast 1 draw 1 from the alter ego skill. Draw trick here. Cards of the rear guard. Okay, so doesn't want to access for a PG yet. Okay. So blast 1 draw 1. Alright, stand and draw. Melum. Should we stride? I guess we don't have any other plays left, right? So Metallica Phoenix it is. Discarding PGs for this doesn't feel good. I guess that's the one weakness of not playing 9 grade 3s. You just have less units that you can stride with. Drawing this is terrible. It's not what we're looking for sure. But we play with the hand we're dealt. Battle. So I guess this is a little play. Okay, we still have Chronicle. We do have Melums. Okay. So we're gonna flip the Upheaval at this point. We're gonna time leap the Chronodren. We're gonna call them Melum here. Melum can hit 11k by itself. and Chrono Dran skill goes into the Soul, and Superior Chrono Jet. Draw trigger is nice, power here. So that's 1 PG, okay, no more heal guards. Mellow swings, 11k. Okay, that's a heal guard. And I can choose to not call anything. I don't think it makes a big difference at this point. Yeah, just shuffle it. And 11. And that's game, please. I hope it's game. Please? Nice, that's game. So yeah, Metallica Phoenix and the mission. Really solid. You can always use it earlier into the game if you have the setup for it. But later into the game, you can combo it off. And a lot of people, I think, underestimate Mellow as a piece. Like, they think it's just here for a combo or it leaves you vulnerable. But yes, it does leave you vulnerable. But you know, as long as it hits numbers and applies a little bit more pressure, it's nice. And I like that we got to showcase the Chrono Dran. So that's really nice. And second game, we're gonna go into Gear Chronicle mirror match. So this is nice because that means that even if we win or lose, Gear Chronicle still wins. So we're good on that end. First game, a little bit of good RNG on our end, especially when we were about to whiff grade 3 and we still got a chance to ride up. So that's really neat. So yeah, okay, our opponent's gonna be playing the Gear Hawk. So probably a more old school classic Gear Chronicle play. And we are playing the Chrono Dran, so obviously we're the cooler Gear Chronicle player. I'm just gonna keep the Strive Fighter for an Ingen. And you can see like the Glimmer Breath being able to hit 11k is really nice. You know, you can just hit very nice numbers. Making use of Fate Riders +3 is very helpful. And not much else other than that, I guess, for that game. I wish we can showcase the Clock Fencer or Water interaction, so I'm looking for that this game. No defensive here, gonna take some 12, take 1 more damage. Standard, okay, that's unfortunate. The odds of that, again, is much lower now. Keeping the resist is nice. History Maker. And I guess I'll just call 1. That's fine. Heal trigger's really good here, and that's really nice. Just have a 19k column. Chrono Jet has the ability to not be retired, but it can be bottom decked. So it is important for us to consider if we should use it early to have 1 extra soul to use for skills, or if we should just let it go and have a target for a Mellow. So it's questions. It depends on the situation. But it's definitely easy to remove since our opponent has a lot of removal options, especially since they're playing a more classic gear build. They do play the Mellow though. I mean, maybe they just play like they just don't like the new starters. Maybe they just like the Gear Hawk to scale. That's fair as well, because as we mentioned, scaling is hard for Time Leap. So I guess the Gear Hawk is definitely valid as an option. So they're gonna see some triggers, and we're gonna ride into our Chrono Jet. And Stride, they have the Ishin, which is annoying. We could always pop it away, but I don't know if that's the best play right now. I think maybe even the Pegasus is good. Pegasus, get a little multi-attack, and then we can still reset the board and have the Ishin. So let's showcase the Metallica Phoenix. We return something, I guess I'll return the Gear Hawk. And I guess with Time Leap, because you binding the Glimmer Breath and they're on place, so you can actually proc the Glimmer Breath. First time you place it down onto the board, second time when you return from Time Leap, you're still on placing it, right? So you can actually use it twice that turn. It's really janky. Like, would you use it often? Not really, but it is a possibility. Yes, it is. They're just gonna Time Leap this, turn this into a grade 3. Generally, I call the Chrono Jet just to make sure it's at the it's not something that you drive check, so you have a more likely opportunity to proc the Chrono Gen. Like if you drive check all your Chrono Jets, there's no way to put them back to the deck, so you can't proc Chrono Gen, which can be a shame. So you just hit some numbers here, and then reset. Still have the resist in the front row. We're still safe and sound, and we're good to go. Next turn, we could multi-attack with the History Maker, so that's still really nice. Opponent's gonna be disconnecting, hopefully rage quitting at this point. But you can see how aggressive Gear Chronicle can be. Like Upheaval Pegasus, Metallica Phoenix honestly reminds me a little bit of Epoch Maker, but I guess the difference is it's not an on-hit, so that's nice. I guess it does cost Camelast 1 though, so that's the difference. Alright, going into the Upheaval Pegasus, just gonna return that one Ishin. Alright, well, good luck to our opponent. We do have 2 copies of everything. So if you put it back, the odds of seeing the Ishin isn't too terrible. It's like 3 and 9? 4, 6, 8, 9. 3 and 9. So good luck. Opponent's still disconnecting. Not sure what's going on. Okay, and the History Maker. So you know, more than 50% chance of removing a resist unit, I guess. So still really nice. And what else is our opponent gonna do? Shenanigans. Seems like they're playing a little bit of everything. You know, you have your Glimmer Breaths, you have your History Makers, you have your twin Macer. I still think at this point you should be playing the purple one, the 9+3 odd place. But because it can be 12k against the intercepts, right? So I think that's helpful. We have 2 PGs and 1 heal guard, so that's really nice. Opponent continues to disconnect. I don't know why. It's not really nice. It's gonna take that damage. Stand trigger, unfortunately, yeah, we did get to showcase the Water Clock Fencer combo, but it is what it is. Opponent continues to see triggers again and again, and we're gonna heal guard that. And next turn we're gonna remove something, and then History Maker to multi-attack and hopefully go for game. So opponent has 4 cards, at most 4 guards, and I'm confident we can remove them. One of the great things about Metallica Phoenix is GB2, is that the flip is that it does set us up for GB2, so that's really nice. But here we do have the Stride, so I think that's really great as well. I think striding is always a nice option. Let's go into the Ride the Clock. So we have 1 removal with our Stride skill. We have another removal with Glimmer Breath, and I think we win at this point. I think we've got game. One of the issues is Counterblast, right? So that's why we play the Shenanigans. It's just hard to use all your skills like this. But yeah, is it worth it? Is the Guard Restrict worth it, or are we going for the multi-attack? I value the multi-attack a little bit more, so let's just commit. Go into it. 11, 14. We're gonna swap this. I guess the Riding the Claw was a misplay, but that's okay. Forgive me, please. Go into the Chrono Jet. Another heal guard. Another one. And Chrono Jet goes for game again. If they don't, then we have the Rival Clock, and that is game. So, I guess what did we get to showcase? We got to showcase Chrono Dren, we got to showcase Melum, we got to showcase Shenanigans, we got to showcase Ishin, Resist is good, History Maker, multi-attack itself, Glimmer Breath, 11k by itself is good. And unfortunately we didn't get, and Metallica Phoenix. So unfortunately we didn't really get to showcase Water and Clock Fencer, but basically the gist of it is you play Water, you play Clock Fencer, you time leap it, you draw 2, you put back 1 back, and then I guess you put a trigger back and you draw a card. So that's basically it. You can extend that combo with using Fate Rider, Fate Ridering that grade 1 into grade 2, and that way you basically keep everything. So that's nice. It's a great first stride play, I guess, because second stride onwards you probably need to catch up and start asking for lethal. That's basically it. That's the Gear Chronicle time leap build. Is there a lot of time leaping going on? Frankly, I guess it's enough. We have the Chrono Gen, we have the History Maker, and Clock Fencer, and Metallica Phoenix. Did I expect more? I definitely did expect more before playing this deck in Zero. But I guess the problem is that Zero's mechanics don't really blend well into Time Leap, and we don't really hit those numbers that we need to work for Zero. But I'm hopeful that down the line, maybe if we have more support, we will have a much more Time Leap centric build. And I can't wait for the new support in G-Set 8 with Gear Groovy and all the good stuff. So that's basically it. Thank you so much to the members, Kamui, Tumelo, Casey, and ZBD. Thank you all for being members and supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more. And be sure to check out the description box for some other cool stuff, like the Twitch, if you want to see me live. So that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.